Today we're going to talk about 5 early signs you may be in a toxic relationship, and stick around to the end of the video where I share a few tips of what you can do about it. Hi, my name is Netta Sanai, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified anytime I post videos on self-improvement, relationship dynamics, and mental health. So what's a toxic relationship? The term is generally used to describe a relationship that has a lot of conflict, negativity, and unpleasantness. In these relationships, the couple isn't supportive of one another. Instead, they try to undermine each other, and it often can lead to physical and verbal abuse. And while all relationships have some form of conflict, in toxic relationships, it's consistently negative. So where does the negativity come from? Well, usually one or both partners in the relationship are toxic themselves. A toxic person is anyone that adds negativity or stress to your life. They're people you would generally say that they are self-centered, that they cause a lot of conflict, and that they're just negative as a whole. Though most people don't want to be in a relationship that is toxic, the problem is that these signs aren't detected until later in the relationship. They're very subtle at the beginning. So that's why today I'm going to cover 5 early signs for you to see if the relationship is worth mending or if it's best to leave. So the first early sign is that a toxic person will retaliate when they feel slighted. So for example, if you try to give them constructive criticism, they won't be able to hear that criticism, and so they'll throw it back at you. Let's say you want to playfully tease them. They can't hear that tease, instead they feel slighted, and so they'll try to embarrass you in front of others the way that they feel inside. It's the idea that if I'm bad, you're worse. If I made a mistake, you made them tenfold. Because of this, you may feel like you're walking on eggshells, and all of a sudden you're holding back what you really want to say because you just don't know how they're going to respond next. Over time, you'll find that you're going to build so much resentment within the relationship. The second early sign is that a toxic person rarely compromises, even on issues that seem to be really small. So for example, they'll always choose where to eat or what movie to watch, and if you offer an alternative, they'll quickly shut it down. Because of this, the relationship becomes one-sided, and over time, you will feel unheard, unseen, and kind of invisible in the relationship because your only purpose now within the relationship is to serve them and only them. The third early sign is that a toxic person will blame you for their problems. They rarely take responsibility for any of their actions. They'll shrug off their flaws and blame their misfortunes on others. So for example, let's say you both are going to a movie and you're running a few minutes late. Instead of accepting the fact that you guys are running late, they will try to find a way to blame you as to why you're running late to begin with. So either you didn't get ready on time, or you didn't pick a later showing, or you just didn't drive there fast enough. And then you find yourself arguing as to why you're running late instead of enjoying the movie to begin with. Another example can occur is when you're giving them advice. So let's say they come to you and they're like, I really want to be able to get a raise at work. I just don't know what to do. What should I say? And so you give them advice and you're like, maybe you should try this. They try it, they don't get the raise. And what happens? They come to you and they say, how could you have given me such a horrible advice? You really wanted me to fail. You didn't want me to succeed. And they'll just really bring all of that negativity onto your shoulders and blame you for not getting the raise. So if your partner is constantly blaming you for their problems, it makes you feel small, and it makes you also feel potentially like you're not ever doing anything right. And you'll tend to not even share your opinions. You feel like you can't even share your thoughts because no matter what, everything is negative. The fourth early sign is that a toxic person tends to spend most of their time complaining, criticizing, and putting others down. They're pessimistic, and they'll always point other people's flaws every chance they get. For example, let's say that you want to go on a trip with them. You'll find that no matter what, they're always complaining. They're complaining about the weather, they're complaining about the food, they're complaining about how late the service is, or how much time they're spending on things that don't really matter to them. And over time, you absorb so much of their negativity that you'll feel suffocated by that. This is not only exhausting, it deprives you a chance to have a good time hanging out with them. The fifth early sign is that a toxic person tends to be manipulative. Toxic people always want things to go their way, and they'll go as far as manipulating you or others in order to get it. So for example, let's say a toxic person isn't getting along with your family members. what you will find is that they will try to distance you from them as much as possible. So you might hear them say something like, I feel like your mom doesn't respect our relationship, or I heard your sister talk really bad about us the other day. How could you be okay with that? They might even accuse you of not caring for the relationship as much and that you choose your family over them all the time. Over time, you may start second guessing yourself. You're going to ask yourself, do they actually not respect our relationship? Are they not respecting my decision? And this is where it starts. So why do toxic people act this way? One possible reason is that they have a superiority complex. This term was coined by Dr. Alfred Adler, and he believed that certain people have a defense mechanism that covers their deep-rooted insecurities by feeling superior to others. These people will avoid anything that makes them feel less than or highlights their deep-rooted insecurities. So as soon as they feel slighted, rejected, or undervalued, those feelings of inferiority come up and they will do anything in their power to get rid of them. So by retaliating, blaming, criticizing, and manipulating others, it allows them to cover up those deep-rooted insecurities and feel better about themselves. Now, if you notice some of these signs in your partner, I don't want you to think that you have to end the relationship immediately. Toxicity isn't black and white, it's on a spectrum. And most of us have some of these traits to begin with. But if you notice some of these signs in your relationship, it might be a cue to seriously start addressing them. So what can we do about it? The most important thing to do is to communicate with your partner. Your partner might not even know that they act this way or that it's affecting you. So have a conversation with them and see, are they willing to hear you out? Now, it's easier said than done because a toxic person will not be able to take responsibility or any accountability. So what can we do here? First, introduce the topic by asking them if they're open to having a discussion with you of what is bothering you within the relationship. Then, only identify your emotions. Don't accuse them of being toxic. Just focus on what you want within the relationship and what has been affecting you. So for example, if you don't like that your partner is being negative, what you can say is, it makes me really sad that our conversations turn negative, and I would really love having positive conversations with you. Or I worry about giving you feedback because of how you've responded. I really want to have open and honest conversations with you without our defenses getting in the way. If you approach the conversation in this way, it may increase your chance of having constructive conversation with your partner. And who knows, maybe they'll be able to hear you out and focus on those traits that you've highlighted. But there's no guarantee that this will work. And if that's the case, then you might want to start considering other options. Though it may be difficult, ending the relationship might be the best thing you can do for your mental health. Toxic relationships are abusive and they ruin lives. So if there is no path forward and you've tried every avenue, it might be better for you to end the relationship sooner so you can make room for a healthier one. So that's it for today's video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to notify you anytime I post new ones. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.